let us jump in and get started. Hello, everybody. That's a weird way to get started. I'm going to start over. Hey, everyone. How's it going? This is our April webinar, and we're talking about a speeding ticket that we got. Now, if you are not a criminal defense or traffic ticket attorney, do not feel left out. There's a reason we're doing this. There's a larger lesson, a larger marketing point that we're going to make here. But if you are actually an attorney who handles traffic tickets, you probably know kind of the process of what happens, you know, in terms of how you kind of reach out to people who got speeding tickets. And so we'll kind of go through that process and just go from start to finish and just kind of see what happened. For starters, I will give you a hint. One of the people on this webinar is the one that got the speeding ticket. And if you would like to play the at-home version, go ahead and let us know in the Q&A section who you think got the speeding ticket. Was it either me, John, the bald one that you see on the screen there? I am the marketing manager who do all of our content. Pretty much any sort of content that you see us put out, I was probably the one that did it. And then we also have Jana here. She is our business development manager. If you ever book a call, talk to us about our services, she is the one that you talk to. And so one of us got it. Let us know who you think it was. And while you are putting in your answers, whether it's in the Q&A or just on your little notepad in front of you, I want to talk to you real quick about some resources that we have for you. If you go to spotlightbranding.com/free resources, we have all kinds of free downloads for you. Our anti-SEO report, our content loop report, which really explains our core strategy and our core belief around content marketing. We also have a bunch of other stuff like ideal client checklist, ingredients for a great website homepage, all kinds of good stuff. And then also we have 2 podcasts that I am the host of that I would love for you to check out if you haven't before. The first one is kind of our flagship show, more for lack of a better term, but that's been going on for a few years now. It's the Law Firm Marketing Minute. We have over 250 episodes at this point. They're all really short, usually on average about 10 minutes a piece. And just goes over just some quick marketing tips, some quick marketing advice, just a real quick hit of marketing information just on your commute into work one day. The other one is Center Stage. This is our new show that we started earlier this year. And in that, myself and sometimes Mark, who's the CEO of our company, will interview either an attorney or another legal industry professional to talk about just a marketing issue or a business development issue that they either do really well or that they've overcome. And it's just a good way for attorneys to just get some more perspective and maybe get some direction on maybe some things that they're struggling with. And so we've had a lot of great guests, a lot more lined up in the queue. And so I really hope you guys check it out. Both of these shows are everywhere that you can find podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Google, iHeartRadio, even just all over the place. So you can't miss it. All right. Now,
well, before you go on, I want to say that we put in a poll, which is a fun feature. And we have some votes in on who people think ended up getting the ticket. So
look at you go.
I know, this is so fun. Results are saying it's me, 5-2. So 71 is what people have so far. So let's see.
Guess what? If you said Jana, you are correct. Jana was the one that did get the speeding ticket. At least in this instance. I will admit that I got one way back in the day, back in college. I know it's over 10 years ago at this point. I am so old that college was over 10 years ago. Jeez. All right. Well, anyway, for now, I will turn it over to you, Jana, to kind of share your experience.
Yes. So it was me. The short and sweet. I'll keep it pretty simple because, you know, they're a common thing. I was driving on a very popular interstate here in Charlotte. If you have been to Charlotte, you've probably been on it. On my way to work one morning and saw a couple officers under a bridge. Was going in the left-hand lane, staying with traffic, in my defense, but he did not think that was okay. So he got me, pulled me over, and ended up giving me a citation. And within about 2 to 4 days, I would say, I started getting mail. I started getting tons of mail in my inbox. My like post office, my like mailman probably thought I was just some sort of terrible delinquent because all the letters say, you know, this is an advertisement for legal services right there on the front. So, or maybe this is something he sees a lot because this is a popular way of marketing. But over the course of those, you know, few days, I ended up getting 28, and I have them here fanned out all nice and pretty, direct pieces of mail from attorneys who wanted to handle my ticket and help me out. So maybe I didn't have to go to court, but yeah, 28 of these puppies, and you know, various ways that they're done. Some are, you know, pretty like different envelope colors. You know, some have like hard flyers in it. But yeah, so that is what I ended up with after receiving the citation.
So who are some of your favorites that you got?
Oh, so I enjoyed this one. I enjoy that, like, it's not just paper, it's like a little bit more textured. So we like that a lot. Another one here that's like textured, more like a little one-page brochure. The blues, obviously we love those because they stand out. Let's see, I had another one that had like an insert in it. Yeah, so those are probably some of my favorites. Yeah, some with the like big pictures on the front. Yeah, a couple of these.
Cool. All right, so you got all of these letters. Who did you end up hiring?
So out of all of these, I ended up going with none of them. See what I did there? None of those. I hired 0 of the 28 attorneys that reached out to me asking to handle this ticket.
And why is that? What did you do instead?
Instead, I came on the verge of tears the morning after I got my ticket and asked all my coworkers, my friends here, said, hey guys, guess what happened? Any chance any of you guys have had a great experience with an attorney who was able to help you out and get you, a good outcome when it came to a speeding ticket? One of my coworkers had, in fact, gone through that and had a recommendation for an attorney that was phenomenal, ended up helping me out tremendously, was wonderful to work with. And that is who I hired. And he was not one of the people that sent me a direct mail piece.
Interesting. Now, I know you are a very thorough person. You still did research every single one of these attorneys, right?
And not just so that I could reach out to them about, wanting to maybe work with us. But yes, I looked them all up online. I wanted to see, does their online presence, first off, exist? Or are they just doing direct mail? And then secondly, does what they, have online match what they're sending me in the mail? Does the level of expertise match up with what they're saying? Does it visually match up? And, are there, most importantly, peer reviews or, testimonials and reviews and things from people that I could read for myself as I do my due diligence? So I was already doing that even before I had the referral from the coworker.
Got it. And, off the top of your head, I mean, how many of those had good websites, had the good testimonials? How many of them, I guess, maybe even made you think about for a second that you might pick them?
I think my idea of a good website may be a little bit different than most, considering what my day-to-day is. But the amount that had a website that looked like it was anywhere close to modern and was not built decades ago, or had a website at all, was not as high as you would think. Definitely less than half, I would say, had a website that made me want to keep on looking past 2 seconds into it, that made me want to even look at what the attorney had to say, go and even check out the reviews on there. Yeah, I'd say less than half, at least.
Well, so before we dive in and kind of make the larger point here, I understand that your situation obviously is not going to be like everyone else. You live in the same general area where you got your speeding ticket. I do know that, especially if you practice in more of a touristy area, maybe like Myrtle Beach or Florida, where people are coming through, you got a lot of out of town people coming through. Maybe your local police department sets up a lot of speed traps, whatever the case may be. You may still get a good return on this sort of direct mail thing. So Jana, talk about that for just a second before we then jump into kind of our larger point here.
Absolutely. And that was something that I, thought of as we were talking about this, which is I was fortunate that this is a place where I have all of my peers that can give me referrals. But if I had been going to, I coach fly ball, if I was at a tournament, it happened to be actually in Myrtle, and got a ticket, then what would I do? All of these direct mailers that I would get, I would do the research that I started with, and that like less than half that had a website that was anywhere close to engaging and informative, I would have done a deep dive in. I would have checked out all the resources that they had. I would have read over the attorneys like about him or her page to see more about what they were like, what their results had been, and then what other people had to say about them. So they were like testimonials or reviews, just to get my own edification on who was going to be the best with my specific scenario, of what my excessive speed was over the limit, and see what kind of results they could get for me.
Yeah. And look, I like, this isn't a webinar to totally trash direct mail. I'm not going to say a bunch of negative things about it like I did radio ads last month that I caught a little flack for. It was all in good fun though. But no, if you attended last month's webinar in our whole Ultimate Marketing Tournament, you remember that direct mail was one of those things that we kind of said, it comes towards the end, and the foundational piece is focusing on those referrals. And to your point, and I know that this happens more often than not, especially with local people who get pulled over. Yeah, they'll get that mail. Maybe they'll look through it, but they're going to go ask their friends, their family, their coworkers first who they recommend. And from there, you already have a foot in the door. And if your website looks great, if you're putting out good content, good educational content, proving that you can take care of their issue, and this goes beyond traffic tickets. I mean, this could be any practice area. It's kind of, it's that's where it becomes a little more universal. And even if you, to your point, Jana, even if it's someone who wasn't local, your website needs to be engaging. It needs to convey that you truly understand what they are going through, that you can handle their issue. Again, not just with speeding tickets, could be divorce, setting up a business, getting someone out of bankruptcy, or guiding someone through bankruptcy. Like that's where this foundational content strategy becomes so important, and why we so strongly believe that's where you start with your marketing and where you should put your focus and your energy, at least at first. And then once you have that foundation, once you have that good content loop going, where you're constantly making touch points with your audience with blogs or videos, social media posts, whatever you want, whatever you're doing, then you start filling in, and rounding out that marketing strategy. That's when the stuff like the SEO or the direct mail or the radio ads come into play. That it's those outer things that sort of complete your marketing that you shouldn't be starting with, because they won't be as effective if you don't have that good website, the good content in place first to establish that expertise and create that connection first.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, you know what? That's it. It's going to be a shorter webinar this week. No, wait, just kidding. Don't leave yet. We have a really big announcement for those of you who are attending live. We're going to, this officially is going to get rolled out on Monday, but because you all are taking some time out of your day to hang out with us for a little bit, and register and listen to what we have to say, we're going to let you in on a little secret and get you some early access that no one else will know about yet. And that is, we have rolled out a brand new service, and it is podcast production. And look, I've been with Spotlight for going on 7 years now. This is the first time since I've been here that we have added a full service to our offering. Right now, we've been talking about podcasting before. I think podcasting was actually one of our upset winners last week in our tournament. But podcasting is really exploding as a medium right now. And we want to help attorneys like you get out in front of that and be at the forefront of this. I was looking around yesterday. We're actually one of the first marketing companies offering this kind of service is exclusively for lawyers. There are other, podcast production services, more universal services out there, but we're the only ones right now doing it specifically for attorneys. And before I let Jana kind of talk about what the service entails, I'll tell you, podcasting gives you the opportunity to get more content, show off that expertise in an easily consumable medium. People listen to podcasts when they're driving into work, when they're working out, cleaning the house, whatever they're doing. And look, if you're a little camera shy, maybe doing videos doesn't really appeal to you, a podcast is a great alternative to just letting people hear your voice, to let people hear your expertise and show off that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's a great way to extend your reach. The show is going to be, as part of the service, and Jan will touch on this a little bit more, but the show is going to get placed on 20 different platforms, 20 different syndication platforms, the same ones that our podcasts are on. So that reach is going to be there on all of those popular platforms. And so, Jana, tell them what the actual podcast production service gets them.
Yes. So we will start by strategizing with you when it comes to even the very beginning, like what should the name of the podcast be? What kind of topics should you address on there? How long should each episode be? How frequently should they be? So a good strategy session to dive into all of that and what's going to be best for you and the potential clients and, people that are going to be listening to it. From there, we'll even design cover art for you. So we'll have the logo that will be featured whenever someone goes to it on Apple Podcasts. It'll be that imagery there, and then we'll even do an intro and outro for you with the music. And so we'll record that for you, unless you can record that yourselves, but we'll even do it for you. John and I have been battling it out to see who's got the better podcast voice, and I think John is winning, but it's okay. And then as you give us that recording, we'll give you tons of information on best tips and practices for the recording itself. But once we get it edited together with that intro and outro, we will publish it, like John said, to 20 platforms. So that it's really getting out there. And then in addition to any of our other services that we might be doing for you, like your website, newsletter, social media, we want to incorporate it there as well. So getting a podcast page on the website, featured in your newsletter each month, and definitely published on social media, in addition to the podcast platforms themselves. So yeah, yep. It's super cool. It's been great so far for the clients that have been testing it out for us and working with us and working out any kinks that we may have had there in the beginning stages, and seems to be rolling pretty well. I'm excited.
Yeah. And look, and we're anticipating a pretty big response to this. We had a lot of people who were super interested in doing the beta phase of this rollout. And so if you're kind of on the fence about it, go ahead and book your call with Jana, get on her calendar and talk about whether or not this podcast production service is going to be right for you, and get up there at the front of the line, because we're really anticipating having a big response to this, and a lot of people are going to be really interested in adding this. And so, yeah, we would love to help you maximize your referrals, attract better clients with all of our, traditional services, our website design, blogging, videos, email newsletters, social media, and also now podcast production. And so if you were ever thinking about starting a podcast, or if you maybe feel like you need to get your website redesigned, to make sure that, all the traffic ticket mail that you're sending out does a better job of converting, this is the way to make that happen. So book a consultation, go talk to Jana, and see if podcasts can be right for you. All right. For real though, that's going to do it this time. If anyone has some questions, we'll hang out here for a minute or two, answer anything that you might have. But yeah, finished up a little bit early this month. I think we went way over last month, so this is a good makeup for that.
Yeah, we'll chill here, wait for you to win the Q&A. I threw in the scheduling link in the chat feature in case anyone wants to go check that out and book a time to talk, and be happy to do so. Yeah.
Cool.
I need to figure out what to do with all of these.
Probably just shred them or throw them in the recycling.
Make for a really good fan. I could, yes, we'll recycle.
Yeah.
We're green. So that's what we'll do.
So green and eco-friendly. All right. So yeah, we'll hang out for about 30 more seconds here. If you got a question, throw it in the Q&A. Otherwise, really appreciate all of you who continue to register and attend. Gives us motivation to keep doing these. So Next month will be a little bit special webinar. We're going to be doing a joint presentation with some of our friends from New York Life, talking about the PPP. And it's not the kind that was COVID related. So what does that mean? You'll have to register and find out next month.
Mhm.
See, I could tell you, but I like doing the teaser.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. I'm so professional. It's like I know how to do a show. All right. That's going to do it for us this month. Thanks everybody for coming, hanging out for a few minutes. We'll see you next time.
Bye.